Hi everyone. I'll be sharing with you something that I've worked on for a long time and my thoughts. And today is called Challenges in the Past Year, including 2024. Hi everyone. I wanted to talk about the challenges and what I've learned from the past years, including 2024. I want to first of all give you a short introduction of myself. My name is Matt, and I have autism, including a learning disability, along with a cognitive disability. Having this has and currently been a struggle for me every year. The things that I thought of on understanding my challenges with it is that I struggle to comprehend on learning different advanced subjects at a certain pace. Sometimes I struggle to figure out how to communicate my thoughts in different social settings, including on social media. And also to add is I struggle at understanding some social situations or social cues that is being presented by other people. One of my most biggest challenges that I struggle with it is dealing with getting bullied, being put down, and dealing with hate from other people, people that I know, and some of my friends, about having a disability, when I struggle in life, when I try my best to be creative or being a human being. It's hard to talk about being a victim of being bullied, including from social media or from public places, because people assume that I'm a negative person or that I'm a bad person for struggling with a disability. I've had struggles with making new friends, maintaining them, and even having a connection with a girl, whether it's a friendship or a relationship every year. There are times where friendships don't work that well for me. People that I meet or some of my friends talk bad about me in person, including on social media. The people that I make friends with, or even when I try to maintain them, get mad at me, where they gaslight me, or other forms where they say that I'm not a good friend. It's my fault that they are unhappy, and they think that it's bad for someone like me with a disability to even have friends. Also, I have to deal with, and currently is getting bullied by some women, including some girls, about having a disability, or when I struggle with social cues, or when I struggle to figure out how to better communicate. What they do is make bad sexual jokes about me with a disability, and they do other forms of harassment. Social media platforms, including Instagram, along with Facebook, is becoming more difficult and nerve wracking. The reason why I say social media platforms is becoming more difficult and hard to navigate and nerve wracking is because it's become too toxic. What I mean is, why is it being toxic? And the reason why I say it's toxic is because I deal with getting bullied on social media through messages from other people that know me or follow me, where they say hateful things about my disability, or even mean comments about how I look or how I'm just trying to be creative. It gets hard when using social media and seeing how many people that I know or that follow can get many likes on their posts or even appreciation, but I hardly don't get it. Another thing is that I struggle with social media is when people are social media aggressive, which is like when someone wants me to like their post or leave a comment on what they have done, but they never reply, give a thanks or appreciation, or even they don't like my post back. The challenges that I face on social media is when people talk bad about me on social media. It gets spread to the public eye, in public places, in social groups, or sometimes when I interact with people. People start to bully me from what they assume that someone had said about me on social media, or even when people spread bad things or rumors about me through messages. I have tried to take a break from using social media platforms, to try to take a break from me having to have anxiety, to work on trying to improve my mental health, trying to figure out how to navigate society better. But it was causing a lot of problems. The problem with me taking a break from social media in the past through currently, along with nowadays, is people have heavily relied on communicating through social media, and many more people want to rely on social media. They don't like it when I try to ask them for a phone or email as a way for better communication. I try my best to give them an honest answer, which is, I respect you as a person and I want to keep in touch with you, but social media isn't a right fit for me because social media causes problems for me. Many times when I would say this type of phrase to people about the reason why I want to have other contact information, I get ridiculed pretty hard or even being put down, where people would make fun of me and even call me creep for just asking for another contact information. As I continue to take a break from social media, my accounts on there get blocked or even get put down by their own social media platforms because they think that I'm a bot for not using it too much. It takes me many days or sometimes hours or even months to try to get my social media accounts back. When people get mean to me, or even when my own friends get mad at me, I always try my best to be creative on how to address my concerns to them. For example, much as I respect you as a person, but when you say mean things or when you say bad things about me with a disability, it hurts my feelings. And another example is, much as I respect you as a person and I try to be a perfect friend to you when you had hard times, I know that I'm not a perfect person all the time, but I hope deep down you know that I have tried to be a good friend to you when you had a hard time. It's hard to give these type of phrases when people get mean at me, or even some of my own friends get mad at me because I get put down for even just trying my best to not say anything mean, but just to try to let them know on how it hurts my feelings. I hardly talk about what my race is in public or even on social media or in general because I deal with backlash. I am an Asian American, a mixed race, and with a disability. It's not easy being an Asian American with a disability in society because it gets judged by the Asian community itself, including my own friends which are Asians or Asian Americans in their community. It's hard when Asian Americans get judgmental about someone with a disability or even their own that struggle with a disability, where they even put me down or even bully in the years and currently. I have dealt with this. There are times where some Asians, including some Asian Americans, make fun of me for having a disability, using their own culture as a way to put, push for hate against people with disabilities like myself, telling me that I'm not perfect for their community. It gets hard when Asian girls or Asian American girls make fun of me for not being perfect or not even being smart at everything that they want me to be. There are times when they call me nasty names, which makes me feel sad. It's hard for me to feel confident about being an Asian American with a disability and the society where my own community can be mean and hateful. Also, I have tried to practice and continue on what it means to be a good friend, trying to be a good listener to people who have struggles in life or when they make good achievements, being kind to other people, and being compassionate for people in general. It's hard to do these principles of what it means to be a good friend because many people have different definitions of what it means to be a good friend, and people get mad at me when I try my hardest to be a good friend. I never really talk about what my religion is in general. I am a Christian, and it's hard to talk about being a Christian in the past and currently because I have dealt with too many people who are very religious uses Jesus' name as a way to advocate for hate, including bigotry against people who are different, including people with disabilities. Too many people that are very heavy religious get judgmental against me for having a disability or when I struggle with it. Also, people uses Jesus' name as a way to hate for common sense ideas like social justice, environmental protection, healthcare reform, including the need to help the poor. I've become more mixed feelings and more comfortable about being a Christian sometimes because I deal with hate from other people that are very religious, and I've dealt with very harsh things from people who are very religious. They sometimes say God says he hates people with disabilities. People with disabilities shouldn't deserve to have life, and they should go to hell, and many others. I know I have talked a lot about my struggles in the past, but this year, 2024, was extremely the hardest and difficult year to understand. It's hard to say that 2024 or the years get harder because people get judgmental about me when I struggle with a disability or when I have challenges in my life that I can't do well in navigating society or different social settings or situations that can be hard to understand. Also in society, I deal with getting judged as a human being with a disability. I've always had many fundamental principles that I have always learned and which I've always wanted to advocate for, to always think of good ideas too, like the need to help the poor or who are disadvantaged or who have a disability to get essential items for a sense of security, strengthen civil rights, including people with disability rights, along with human rights to reduce discrimination or hate, protect our environment from pollution, expand on social justice to improve communities, have common sense criminal justice reform to help protect people's rights while reduce crime, along with protecting our fundamental civil liberties. Have a comprehensive immigration reform where we can protect refugees along with some immigrants who are just trying to escape from an oppressive country, and the importance of having government reform as a way to reduce corruption. Many people, including people who are very political or in the news media, say that these common ideas are bad ideas or that they are socialist ideas. However, it shouldn't be a Democratic or a Republican for these fundamental common sense ideas. I thought these things are a fundamental way of what I believe that the world should be for the good things to help our society to grow. In 2024, I have dealt with a huge increase of dealing with bigotry and hate against me for having a disability, and this election cycle was the hardest thing to deal with. In this election cycle, we had a candidate who promoted bigotry and hate against people who are different, including people with disabilities. The news media, including entertainment, have increased more on stereotyping people with disabilities as bad people. Many candidates that were running for office had influenced many people to believe in the false narratives that people with disabilities are causing problems for the economy. I have dealt with this anti-disability stigma in this month and in this year, which really tore me apart as I've seen too many people who I know, some of my neighbors, some of my friends who I knew from the past through currently, people that I'm around, people who I work with or volunteer with, but they are heavily addicted to bigotry against me for having a disability. And also in my job setting, many workers that I worked with have made comments to me about how they believe that someone with a disability like me is causing the economy to get worse because I struggle at doing a fast paced environment, or sometimes it is hard to understand how to do a task efficiently. In public places, in social media, have become even more worse. I have dealt with people getting so aggressive to me in my face about my struggles with a disability, or even if I can't do well in certain things. I have noticed that 2024 scared me a lot because I saw many people that had posted on social media or even spoke out to me in person about believing that people with disabilities don't deserve human rights, or they deserve to be punished for being different. As I watch many people who I know, some of my friends, and people in general have become more addicted to bigotry and hate, or even when many people who I know or some of my friends didn't really want to take the time to listen to my concerns about being worried, it broke my heart in general. There are times where I had to cry each day because of dealing with the increase of being bullied, including dealing with the amount of bigotry for just because I struggle with my disability, or that I even struggle to understand how the world works. I realized too many people had given up on me. I have dealt with in the past, along with 2024, with many of my friends that have been with and currently, or people that I know in general, have told me that they can't really support me because I am disabled. They blame me for their struggles in life. Many times they make statements where they blame people with disabilities for their own problems. And people, including some of my friends, tell me that I don't belong anywhere. I don't deserve to have friends. I don't deserve to have a girl who I can be friends with me. When I work, when I volunteer, sometimes I deal with some coworkers or some volunteers tell me that I'm a bad person because I struggle. I'm trying to do many tasks and even get put down when something doesn't go right. It's hard because I live with guilt. Guilt eats me inside of me. I try to ask myself, am I a bad person for having a disability? Am I the problem that I can't do well with friendships or people to like me for who I am? Is it wrong for me to being a human being or someone who wants to have good fundamental principles? Why do I feel ashamed every day? As I started to realize that many people who I knew didn't even want to take the time to listen to me about having concerns, or even when I struggled, or even when I just wanted to have a friend or someone to talk to. I felt like I was alone in my struggles in the past, along with this year. I had to do a lot of thinking to myself about what I have learned from the past years and currently, and what I have experienced. What have I tried to understand about society? How do I feel about myself? I took a long, deep dive into myself, thinking about what type what type of person am I? What type of principles does it mean to be a good worker or a good volunteer? The best thing that I can think of to myself is that being a good worker or a good volunteer is someone who wants to help people, being creative at learning how to do a task efficiently while using critical thinking, trying my best to figure out how to work as a team, including being kind to other people. I realize as a Christian myself, I have to tell myself that Jesus would not want me to give up on his principles of wanting to have good things for people, and that it's okay to have common sense ideas, that wanting to make the world a better place, and it's okay that I have to spend time with my Jesus doll along with other um, religious figures like Buddha and Moses as a way to remind myself that I want to do good things or to advocate for good policies. I have to tell myself just because I believe in good principles or good policies like protecting our environment, having universal health care for people who struggle with getting access to health care, the importance of making civil rights, including people with disability rights, along with human rights, to be stronger, allowing a woman to have the right to choose, expanding social justice to improve communities, the ability to have common sense criminal justice reform to reduce crime while protecting people's rights along with our fundamental civil liberties isn't a bad thing, and that is a common sense idea where it shouldn't be a partisan or it shouldn't be ignored. In my 5 years and almost my 6 years of volunteering with a small community group where we help feed homeless people, including people who are low income, has taught me the importance of helping people who are disadvantaged or when the government has failed them or when other services aren't available to them. Volunteering to help feed homeless people or people who are poor or disadvantaged is never easy. It can be hard many times because many people struggle to have a sense of security. The best thing that I can do is try to give them good comfort of words or to use critical thinking as a way to figure out how to balance between giving more grocery bags filled with canned goods to them. As a Christian and doing this volunteering, I have always tried to represent what Jesus would want me to do to help the poor or disadvantaged in society. I have learned as an Asian American with a disability is that it's okay to be an Asian American who is diverse in society or even have a different interest than other people. Also, as an Asian American with a disability, I strongly believe that it's important to recognize many Asians or Asian Americans who have different skills or different career interests to be recognized for their contributions to our society or if they just want to be creative. When it comes to trying to give a good insight, or even when I'm trying to tell people when they hurt my feelings, is that it's okay to be a human being who wants to express concerns, but also trying to be a human being during these struggles. When social media becomes harder, or even when it makes my life harder, all I can do is try to explain that I'm a human being who struggles, but wants to make a world a better place and to share my creativity of good instead of controversial things. With friendships and dealing with people has not gotten better, unfortunately, as I hoped, including in every year and this year. I've noticed in my whole entire life on how people are so addicted to bigotry and hate that I realize that I am alone. I shouldn't feel too bad about being alone because I have to remind myself that I'm a human being with a disability. It's okay that I have struggles in life, but really want to try to do good or have good principles while having critical thinking is the best tool in life for me. It breaks my heart that everybody gives up on me, even my own friends, people who I know. But I have to tell myself that I want to make a world a better place for me or for the future or for our future generations to come. I have to continue to exercise to help improve my health, to keep myself in shape, and to keep myself along with improve my mental health, even if I struggle on trying to be perfect at a workout. And I have to tell myself to go at an even pace, but gradually improve myself. When it comes to deciding about if I want to have friends, I feel like it's time for me to pause and take a break from it for a while because I've dealt with the harshness of people being mean or even trying to promote bigotry against me. I spent a lot of time writing letters to influential people who inspire me, where I try to thank them for inspiring me to work hard to improve myself, how their work makes an impact on me, how I appreciate them on wanting to do good things for society. When I deal with hard times or when people get me or when I get put down for being different, the best thing that I can do is to take the time to think of good thoughts or positive vibes for people that I care about or people in general. to have good health or to have a good life or to overcome different struggles. Also, I spend time with my historical figures as a way to help keep me comfort when I can't do well with other people. I know that it's a lot to process and that it was hard for me to figure out how to address what my thoughts are in the past, including this current year or the years to come. I don't know what the world will be like in the next few years or even the near future, but I hope that it can be better. It could be kinder to me. I hope that people can be understanding of me when I struggle with a disability. Also, I hope that people can stay away from the anti disability stigma or even different forms of bullying in society because it isn't good for people like me or for many people or many people with disabilities. It's hard to predict what's every year is going to be like, or it's hard to understand what the year will be like for many of us. Or it's even hard to understand what achievements I have made because I struggle. And all I can do is to remind myself that I'm just a human being who tried my best, who shouldn't have to sacrifice the good principles that I have learned, and that it's okay when I struggle in life because everybody struggles in life. This is my short piece that I wrote on, and I wanted to say that in this piece that I worked on is I wanted to share that about my struggles that I faced in the past years, including currently, and I wanted to address that. I wanted to say that we want a world to be a better place for people with disabilities and people to be kinder and people to stay away from bigotry and hate. And also as a message for a lot of people who are different generation groups, including different minority groups, is just to please be respectful of people with disabilities and also please be understanding when people have struggles and that um, that every year is always a challenge, but everybody deserves to make some good progress or make some achievements. Thanks.